In 1985, to encourage cocoa farmers to produce more cocoa through the application of good farming practices, Ghana Cocoa Board introduced the Best Cocoa Farmers Award. The idea was to award the best cocoa farmers on district, regional and national levels. Cocoa Board, in conjunction with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture and the licensed buying companies, shortlists from the 800,000 cocoa farmers across Ghana. The nomination process looks for farmers with high yield and best managed farms, the farmers' knowledge of good agronomic practices, record keeping, employment creation and community services. The farmers, when selected, are visited by Cocoa Board officials to determine who to be awarded the best on district, regional and national level. The winning farmers are given various prizes. However, the most attractive prize goes to the National Best Farmer, who receives a cash award and a brand new vehicle. In 2002, Cocoa Board included a trip to the UK as part of the award prize to visit an agricultural show. Cocoa Board has set itself to attain a 1 million ton production target by 2012-2013, and to ensure that cocoa farmers are well equipped to enable them produce more, Cocoa Board provides good incentives through training of farmers, free mass spraying of cocoa farms, and assists in the rehabilitation of aging or diseased cocoa farms across Ghana.
We have the disease and pest control, we have a subsidy on fertilizers, we have the Cocoa Rose program, we have scholarships to farmers' awards. We have now introduced an insurance scheme for cocoa farmers. And this is very important because we need to improve the quality of life of our people.
The winner of the 2010 Ghana Nationals Best Cocoa Farmer was Mr. Samuel Awuni. Mr. Awuni also set the record of being the youngest cocoa farmer to win this award. For his prize, he was given a pickup vehicle, 5,000 new Ghana cedis, and a trip to the UK. The visit to the UK was aimed to expose the farmer to farming practices in the developed world, as well as to allow the farmer to see the value placed on Ghana's cocoa on the international market. On the 5th of August 2011, Mr. Awuni, accompanied by Mr. Noah Amenya, the Public Affairs Manager at Cocoa Board, undertook their visit to the United Kingdom. On arrival to the UK, the first point of call was to the Cocoa Marketing Company UK Limited in Ghana Forestry Commission's Timber Development Division UK offices. At the CMC office, they were welcomed by Mr. Musa Lemboni, the manager, and his staff. CMC UK Limited is a fully owned subsidiary of Ghana Cocoa Marketing Company Limited and is responsible for the marketing of Ghana's cocoa outside Ghana. At Ghana Forestry Commission's Timber Development Division UK, Dr. Nuruddin Idrisu and Mr. Alex Ofei welcomed the team. After leaving the CMC offices, the delegation, made up of the Ghana Best Cocoa Farmer Mr. Awuni, Mr. Amenya and Mr. Lemboni, gave a courtesy call to the Ghana High Commission in Belgrave Square, London. They were welcomed by His Excellency Professor Kweku Danso-Boafo, Ghana High Commissioner to the UK and Ireland, his Deputy High Commissioner Mrs. Elizabeth Nicol, and some sectional heads at the mission.
We are very privileged today to have amongst us a very distinguished individual, someone who is contributing to the production of the bulk of the wealth of Ghana, in the person of Mr. Samuel Awuni, who has been adjudged the best cocoa farmer. He is visiting London as part of his prize.
Excellency was encouraged that a young farmer had won the award in an industry that is perceived to be for the elderly. He congratulated Mr. Samuel Awuni for his contribution towards the growth of the cocoa industry. Professor Kweku Danso-Boafo hoped that Mr. Awuni would be a good example to the youth, motivating them to go into farming. Mr. Lemboni introduced the delegation from Ghana to the High Commissioner and gave an outline of activities planned for the farmer during his visit.
So that he can appreciate that. And then the climax will be participation in the Agric Fair in Ashowa, which is about 150 miles from London.
I'm very hopeful that this will encourage the youth in Ghana to get into farming.
Mr. Noah Amenya gave an update on the progress made in the Ghana cocoa industry. The Public Affairs Manager of Ghana Cocoa Board said Cocoa Board, with the support of government, have put in place structures and policies like the Cocoa High-Tech Program, disease and pest control, as well as the observance of good agronomic practices to sustain growth of the industry. Mr. Amenya said smuggling of cocoa across Ghana's border, which poses a major challenge to the industry, has been minimized through an increase in producer price of cocoa and anti-smuggling campaigns.
Welcome to the party in the park at Barnes FC Stadium. Today we are having fun. We are here to celebrate Ghanaian culture.
On Saturday, 6th August, the farmer and his entourage, accompanied by His Excellency the High Commissioner, spent the day at a Ghanaian social gathering in London, themed Ghana Party in the Park. This event brings together Ghanaians and Ghana to showcase Ghanaian cultural dance, music, food, fashion, and other fun activities. During the event, Mr. Awuni was presented with a gift by Ghana Money Transfer, one of the main sponsors of the event.
My brothers and sisters, Mr. Awuni.
General Manager, I say congratulations and I wish you all the very success in your future career. Thank you so much.
Ghana International Bank, a fully owned Ghanaian bank operating from Cheapside in the City of London for over 50 years, was the next point of call for the delegation. Meeting the delegation was Mr. Joe Mensah, manager of the bank. Mr. Mensah took the farmer around the various sections of the bank. Ghana International Bank plays an important role on behalf of Ghana and Cocoa Board. The bank manages the revenues received from the sale of Ghana cocoa abroad and acts as a lead arranger for Cocoa Board's annual trade finance facility. Included in the delegation this time was Mr. George Finn, the Minister for Trade and Investment at the Ghana High Commission. The visit to Ghana International Bank ended with an exchange of gifts between Mr. Awuni and Ghana International Bank. On Tuesday, 9th August 2011, Mr. Awuni and his entourage headed for the famous Bournville factory of Cadbury Craft Chocolates in Birmingham, UK. Cadbury has been a major user of Ghana's cocoa beans for over 100 years. Mr. Charles Aminyaglo, Legal Department from Cocoa Board, joined the delegation. Meeting the delegation was Mr. David Button, Cadbury Procurement Department. Mr. David Croft, Director of Conformance and Sustainability, Cadbury, was proud of Mr. Awuni's achievement. He assured Cocoa Board that Cadbury Craft was committed to see the growth of the Ghana cocoa industry, hence the many initiatives that Cadbury is undertaking in partnership with Cocoa Board.
That's really where the Cocoa Partnership and working closely with Cocoa Board at a national level and at an individual farmer level is hugely important, and the more we can help you to tell Samuel's story, to bring youth into farming, perhaps through our cocoa ambassadors, and get them to meet him, and all of those things to help Ghana's cocoa industry thrive and prosper, because the two of us have the same vision for Ghana's cocoa industry to grow and continue to be the best in the world.
Mr. Phil Thurston, factory manager at Cadbury Bourneville, gave a short presentation on the history of Cadbury. Mr. Thurston played a short video of previous Cadbury campaigns aimed to promote Ghana quality cocoa beans. Mr. Awuni and the entourage were taken on a tour of the factory, where it was explained firsthand how cocoa beans are processed into chocolate. After the tour of the factory, the delegation visited the popular Bourneville theme park that takes visitors back into the history of Cadbury chocolate. George Finn, Trade and Investment Minister at the Ghana High Commission UK, on Wednesday 10th of August, led the delegation to take part in the 80th Ashover Agricultural and Horticultural Show in Derbyshire, UK. The event showcases the best in agricultural machinery, livestock, poultry and horticulture mixed with fun activities and food.
It is interesting to look at the activities of our best cocoa farmer. Apart from cocoa, cocoa sector really is a leader. He is also doing well in the poultry sector. He is doing well in the livestock sector. He has cattle, he has cows, he has sheep, and then there are other farming practices
Next day, the delegation visited the offices of Amajaro and Olam in London. The two organizations operate in Ghana as licensed buying agents for cocoa board and are well known by every Ghanaian cocoa farmer. Amajaro Trading is a global soft commodity trading house and supply chain manager founded in 1998 and is one of the world's largest traders in soft commodities. Headquartered in London, Amajaro has origination and exporting operations in all the major cocoa, coffee and sugar growing countries across the globe. Welcoming Mr. Wuni to the offices of Amajaro was Mr. Richard Ryan, the Chief Executive Officer. Mr. Ryan was full of praise for Mr. Wuni for winning the position of the best farmer considering his age. He was confident that Mr. Wuni would be a good ambassador for the Ghana cocoa industry and would draw more youth into cocoa farming.
With our cocoa customers, with CMC, quality, 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 and with that and with this partnership and Source Trust and our chocolate manufacturers and everybody working together, we can see real benefits and benefits on the ground. 100 boreholes, 50,000 malaria nets just to repeat, a school and various other things, and that doesn't, not to mention extension services that have been provided, and it's just about giving back, and that's what we're about Amajaro. It's about sharing and partnerships and being involved in that that whole process.
Mr. Ryan, on behalf of Amajaro, presented a check of 1,500 new Ghana cedis to Mr. Awuni. A delegate from Lindt in Sprumley, a popular Swiss chocolate manufacturer dating back to 1845, made a special presentation.
We want to give you a motorized mist sprayer, and we will also want to give you a box of our finest chocolate. I am assured there are many Ghanaian cocoa beans within this particular box.
From Amajaro, Mr. Awuni, accompanied by his delegation, visited the offices of Olam UK, a New Zealand house in the West End of London. At Olam, he was shown how to trade Ghana's cocoa on the international market by Mr. Jim Green, head of cocoa at Olam.
When we buy cocoa from Ghana, we'll see where the market's trading at that particular time. We'll see where the currency's trading at that particular time, because we tend to buy in dollars from Cocoa Marketing Company. We'll call the Cocoa Marketing Company, talk to one of them.
Big congratulations on the volume this year of production.
Welcoming the farmer and his delegation, Mr. Chris Brett, Senior Vice President, Head of Corporate Responsibility and Sustainability at Olam, thanked Mr. Awuni and the team from Cocoa Board for visiting Olam.
We would like to reinforce the commitments we have to the Government of Ghana.
Mr. Chris Brett took the opportunity to give a brief background about Olam's work in Ghana and some of their community projects.
So, as you've been aware, in Ghana we've launched our new cotton programs in the middle to northern belt of Ghana. We're investing heavily there with farmers and investment in machinery. We've also invested heavily this year in our wheat milling facility in Tema, as well as some of the other businesses that we're involved in. But those are the headline businesses for this year.
Mr. Awuni, on behalf of Cocoa Board and Ghana cocoa farmers, made a presentation to Olam. On Thursday, 18th August, Mr. Awuni spent the 14th day of his visit to the UK at the offices of Divine Chocolates. a UK-based fair trade chocolate manufacturer co-owned by the Kwapa Cocoa Farmers Cooperatives in Ghana.
Divine Chocolate was established back in 1998, and our mission is to improve the livelihoods of cocoa farmers in West Africa by establishing a dynamic branded chocolate marketing company in the UK market, thus putting farmers higher up the value chain. So the Kwapa Cocoa own 45% of Divine Chocolate, and so they own those shares. We think Ghana Cocoa is papa. And certainly in the 12 years we've been working, we've never had anything rejected, so all of the cocoa works very well. And Britain has a special relationship with Ghana and the flavour of its cocoa, so that when we think about English chocolate, we think about chocolate that tastes of Ghana cocoa. And so it's a mellow cocoa which delivers a nice creamy mellow chocolate, and it's perfectly divine.
Because Divine was such a fantastic chocolate, it was underselling itself, it was an under-promise, it was actually so much more lovely than the packaging was saying on the shelf. So we again worked with an agency to see if we could come up with a design that really told you exactly how wonderful this product was, and also told you a little bit more what made it special. And this agency had been looking obviously at our Ghanaian roots, and when we were looking at and looked at the Adinkra symbols, and thought this was the perfect way of both making a beautiful bar, because you can use them so beautifully, but for anyone who wants to find out more, it tells them that we're Ghanaian.
From the offices of Divine Chocolate, the delegates headed off to M&M World in Leicester Square. En route to M&M World, Mr. Awuni took the opportunity to do some sightseeing of London's historic landmarks and tourist attractions. Mr. Martin Gilmore, Director, Cocoa Sustainability at Mars Incorporated UK, welcomed Mr. Awuni and his delegation to M&M World. In a brief meeting, both parties took the opportunity to update each other on how their industries were faring. After the briefing, Martin Gilmore took Mr. Awuni and his team on a tour of the 35,000 square foot M&M World facility. M&M World is the first of its kind in Europe and the world's largest candy store. It provides visitors with a fun and interactive experience. The shop specializes in everything M&M, from candy to clothing. M&M World is owned by Mars UK Confectionaries, a leading brand in chocolates and other food products. The curtain for the 15 days visit of Ghana's national best cocoa farmer to the UK was drawn to a close on Friday 19th August 2011 when the Ghana High Commissioner, His Excellency Professor Kweku Danso-Boafo, hosted a reception at the offices of the Ghana High Commission in Belgrave Square, London. The event was attended by a cross-section of leaders from the various Ghanaian communities represented in London.
My brothers and sisters, welcome to everybody.
Welcoming all to the reception, His Excellency thanked all for attending the gathering, reminding them of the purpose for the gathering.
We've all assembled here to honor our brother Mr. Awuni. In fact, he has demonstrated to the world that the youth of Ghana can accomplish so much.
Mr. Musa Lemboni, CMC UK Manager, and Mr. Noah Amenya, Public Affairs Manager, Cocoa Board, took turns to address the gathering.
We must be thankful to government for also giving the farmers a good producer price of 200 Ghana cedis per bag of 64 kg. And that had also encouraged the farmers to bring all the cocoa on board because it will not be beneficial to take it outside. So we are grateful to government for that support, and we hope that government together with Cocoa Board will continue to give farmers the necessary support and get us to continue to produce what has become the world's #1 cocoa in terms of quality.
In a short speech, Mr. Awuni, the national best cocoa farmer for 2010, said,
"Thank you for the government's good work towards cocoa farmers. It was in 1985 that the government decided to honor cocoa farmers in district, regional and national level. To this, I will urge all Ghana farmers, the youth and all into cocoa farming, that they should all work hard so that cocoa will increase in Ghana. I also plead with the young adults who have traveled abroad and things are not going well, or those who have traveled abroad in search of work but have not succeeded, to come back home and support the youth into cocoa farming so the industry will prosper for the benefit of Ghana. I will want to personally use my energy to motivate the youth to take up cocoa farming to see the growth of cocoa farming."
The national best cocoa farmer for 2010, Mr. Samuel Awuni, left the UK for Ghana with much gratitude to Cocoa Board and the government of Ghana. According to Mr. Awuni, he's looking forward to sharing his experience with his family and fellow farmers in Ghana, hoping that it will motivate them to aspire to win the Best National Farmer Award in the near future so they could have the opportunity to experience for themselves what he had learned from his trip to the UK.